Do you believe there are contradictions in the Bible? Because there is this Skeptics Annotated Bible that says that there are 439 of them. Yet I am here to say that we are investigating each one, and I'm up to 64. Where did Jesus cure the blind man? And this is so intriguing because it seems like it's a contradiction and we don't know which way it's going to go. So if you want to join me, let's get into it. My name is Craig and this is Morning Star Quest, where we are delving into the Bible one question at a time.
This is such an intriguing topic and I'm excited to see where the journey takes us next.
And so am I, because yes, we've got where did Jesus cure the blind man? It is such an interesting one because it comes with a bit of a conundrum.
Absolutely. And that conundrum really keeps us on our toes.
Mark 8, 22 to 25. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing here for you, but it starts with, they came to Bethsaida, and some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. When he had spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, "Do you see anything?" Looks like I am reading everything. He looked up and said, "I see people. They look like trees walking around." Once more, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were opened, his sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. There is a problem with this. Bethsaida. Where is Bethsaida?
Bethsaida is actually a town that's mentioned a few times in the Gospels, and it's located near the Sea of Galilee. It's one of those places that really brings a lot of context to the stories about Jesus's miracles and travels.
But this leads us to the problem. John 9, 1 to 7. Now, as he went along, he saw a blind man from birth. His disciples asked, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Now, it obviously goes on about the story, and Jesus says, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," said Jesus, "but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." Now, it goes on a little bit more, and then Jesus says to the blind man, "Go," he told him, "wash in the pool of Siloam." This word means sent. So the man went and washed, and he came home seeing. So this event, this one happens with a pool of Siloam, and it actually talks about it previously, I think, that it's in Jerusalem.
And that's where the intrigue comes in, because we have these two different locations mentioned in these healing stories. It really makes you think about the unique details of each event and why they're recorded the way they are.
And yeah, you could say that they're written from different perspectives. So it comes at the same thing from a different angle and is telling a different story from the same event. However, with a little bit of a problem. One of these stories is in Bethsaida. We got that. And the other story is in Jerusalem. Now, this is about a week apart if you were walking. So that's a bit of a journey. How can this blind man and Jesus be in the same? Look, let's face it, Jesus could be in the same place, a different place at the same time, but the blind man can't.
Exactly. And that's where the curiosity really kicks in. It's fascinating to consider how these events might be distinct or if there's a deeper meaning behind the different locations. It definitely adds an intriguing layer to the story.
It does. It does. And there's a bit of a problem because someone wrote the Skeptics Annotated Bible. His name is Steve Wells, and he put this whole contradiction list together. And you know what? It's a big list, 439 of these contradictions. But each one of these, when you break it down, you find that it's not as bad as you think. Because what if this is not one story, this is two stories at different times?
Exactly. It could be that these are separate events, each with its own unique context and lesson. And that just makes the exploration even more exciting because we get to see the richness of these stories from different angles.
Let's go through Mark 8, 22 to 25. Let's go through the story before Mark 8:13 Jesus crosses the lake by boat. Now there's a lake there because it's Lake of Galilee. Mark 8:22, they came to Bethsaida. Then Jesus sees the blind man and he takes him by the hand outside of the village. And then we have 8:27, Jesus and his disciples went on to the villages around Caesarea Philippi, which is right next to it. If they were in Jerusalem, it'll be a bit of a walk. Now, if we go to John 9:17, before John 8:59, Jesus leaves the temple grounds in Jerusalem. Jesus sees the man as he went along, and he sends him to the pool of Siloam, also in Jerusalem. John 9:13, the man is taken to the Pharisees for questioning in Jerusalem. This whole story is in Jerusalem. The other story is in Bethsaida and the area of Galilee. There is no problem with this because they are two different stories. It's not a contradiction. You can't have a contradiction if they're two different stories.
Exactly. When we look at it that way, it really highlights how unique each event is and how they serve their own purpose in the narrative. It's fascinating to see how these different perspectives and locations add so much richness to the overall story.
One more of these 439 contradictions, and we are up to number 65, I think it is. One more of these contradictions is proved wrong. So if you think the skeptic annotated Bible has got anything to give you and reference you and say that there are contradictions in the Bible, we've got one more proof that that is not true. That we've got one of these every single week, and we're going to go through them until we are done. That's going to be 8 years, but it's going to be worth it because I'm learning so much more. And this is such a deep and interesting story, or should I say stories, because we are not talking about one story, we're talking about two stories, and both of them are very rich and telling a different story of Jesus and his message to us. And I want to help you get deeper into this because it is so worth it. So if you think this is a contradiction, well, click on that and go see another one of my videos that we're going to go through, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to go through them like a Bible study, not just to say, well, there's a contradiction there and everyone goes, oh, is there? Okay, I guess. No, we've got to have proof. We've got to go through each and every single one of them and prove that this skeptic annotated Bible is not correct and it is bunkum. Sorry for using strong language. Go do something awesome for God, and I'll catch you in the next one.